Good evening from the garden and welcome to today's video, which is about one of my favorite berries, the black raspberry. Here in Europe, the black raspberry is very little known and very little grown, which I think is a shame. But the plant comes from North America, so if you live in North America, you might be familiar with it. You might be able to buy it in the stores maybe, and you might even be able to forage for it in the wild, in which case I'm envious. For us, the only option is to grow the plants ourselves, but fortunately that's not difficult. We started with one plant in our backyard about 15 years ago, I think, and even though cane fruit is not very long-lived and it can become over time susceptible to diseases and viruses, and the plants can get weaker, that has not been the case with the black raspberry. It's still very vigorous and fruiting abundantly. And we were also able to take cuttings from it. Raspberries, just like other cane fruit, are very easy. Black raspberries are very easy to propagate because anywhere the cane touches the ground, it will root, and then you can just dig up the newly rooted cutting and then move it. Which was what we did. We took two and moved them to our bigger plot and planted them next to the pergola. The canes of black raspberry can grow very long. If you look here, this is not even as long as they can get, but I would say at least 3 meters, possibly 4. So they definitely need some kind of support. In our backyard, I train them along wires against the fence. Here I take 2 canes and train them up the pergola. One thing I should touch upon is the growth habit, which is actually more similar to blackberries or hybrid berries like Logan or boysenberry or Thaiberry, which is they only form new canes from the same spot, and unlike red raspberries or yellow raspberries, which can make runners and under the ground just go over a meter or more and then shoot up again. And that is also what makes them suitable to growing against a structure like a pergola, because I would not want canes all over here. I just want them right next to the pole, or I can train them up. It's useful to think about how plants grow in the wild, and black raspberries, just like red or yellow raspberries, are kind of woodland edge plants, which means they like to have their roots shaded and then sun for the fruits to ripen. Which is why it's a really good idea to provide some kind of mulch to keep the roots moist and shaded. In our case, we have wood chip, which works really well. When I posted a photo on Instagram, I got reactions from gardeners growing black raspberries all over the world. People from both central Russia and central Mexico, so both climates much warmer than ours and much colder than ours, so it seems that the range of the plant is quite big, wide, and that you should be able to grow it in different climates, though I would not think it's suited to tropical climate and definitely to desert, which is also a question that I got. The plants are extremely easy to care for. Like I said, you should provide mulch. We do not even feed them with compost or anything, though if your soil is very poor, that would be a good idea. But ours is sufficiently rich in organic matter for that not to be necessary. And of course, the mulch, as it rots, it will provide nutrients and increase the organic matter content of the soil as well. The only thing that remains is pruning, and that is the same as for basically any cane fruit. Super easy, even a child could do it. The only thing you need to do is, after harvesting all the berries, cut the canes that bore fruit close to the ground. They will not fruit anymore. The fruit next year will be on the new canes, and you can distinguish them from the old ones also, not only because there were no fruits, but also the color, because the older canes get this beautiful dark purple color, and the young canes, the shoots that grew this year, are green, and you can see that I'm already training the new ones up the pergola. After the harvest is finished, then I will cut these down, the old ones, and then it's even easier to tie the new canes in. I mentioned that the black raspberry actually has the same growth habit as blackberries, so you might ask why are they then called raspberries? And the reason is that the fruits are like red or white raspberries. They will detach completely from the I don't know what this part is called, but if you grow blackberries, then you know what I mean probably, because this will stay then in the berry, but in the black raspberry, the fruit when you pick it is kind of hollow. They're very closely related to European red raspberries, but the fruit is a bit sturdier, so I think it would also be more interesting commercially, because it would probably be possible to ship it better or store it a bit longer. And the taste is quite unlike red raspberry, I would say. I think it's much more aromatic, and I love that because I really like aromatic fruits. Because they're so closely related to red raspberries, it is also possible to cross those two, and that resulted in purple raspberries, which we had in our backyard, but unfortunately we had to take the plant out for I don't even remember the reasons. They were also good, so if you can get those, that's definitely also an interesting fruit, but I would probably go for the black raspberry first. Then how can you use the fruits? Well, you can use them in the same way as red raspberries. You can make jam, you can make all kinds of preserves. There's apparently a liqueur made out of them in France. You can bake them, use them in pies and all other kinds of baked goods. But as for us, we eat most of them fresh. The plant, our first plant, which is growing in our backyard just opposite our back door, it's really like maybe 2 meters from our back door. So in the morning I can just walk out and pick the berries for breakfast. And the way we like to eat them currently is with a bit of yogurt and homemade granola. And that's like pretty much my perfect summer breakfast. Because of the microclimate in our sheltered backyard, the berries there start ripening a bit earlier than here, so we've been already picking there for about 2 weeks, and we pick a little bowl every day, and that's like what I like. I want a little trickle of berries over a long period of time. I have one recipe on my blog featuring black raspberries, and that's cinnamon rolls with black and red raspberries, and actually that's what I want to make tomorrow. So I'm going to pick all the ripe berries here and also the ones from our red raspberries, because tomorrow our daughter is coming back from college and she loves cinnamon rolls. Pretty much the whole family does, and she loves berries, so I'm going to make those rolls tomorrow. So that's about all information I think you need. One last thing. There are named varieties of black raspberries. As far as I know, not as many as in red raspberries, and even fewer are available in Europe. This variety is called Jewel. There's also Bristol, but that's pretty much about it, what I've seen here. I will list the nurseries that I know carry them below. Maybe if you live in other parts of the world and you also know where they can be found, please share it in the comments, because I'm sure people will want to know. I would also love to know if you grow or forage for black raspberries, how you use them, so please let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon. Happy gardening!